Okay, and now we're on video number 5. Debunk number 7 should be in about 5 minutes. We're live from Chicago. Hey, live from Chicago. It's Bev and the stupidity of his thinking. All right, so if you're living on a sphere that is 24,000 miles in circumference and you're standing on it on the surface, excuse me, I'm not done. And you're standing on it on the surface at 6 feet tall. When you look out at the horizon, are you going to see a straight line or a curved line, Bev? Bev, answer my question, please. Please answer my question. Please answer my question. I'll repeat it for a third time. If you're standing on an earth, if you're standing on a sphere that is 24,000 miles in circumference, and you're 6 feet tall standing on the surface, and you look out at the horizon, would you see a straight line or not?
I don't know. If I'm ever doing that.
Okay, if you did, okay, so the answer is yes, you would. Okay? That's the end of that. Because
no, I wouldn't, because I'd have my hand in front of my eyes.
No, not interested in comedy. Yeah. You're live, Bev. But Bev, everyone's thinking that you're avoiding. Your comedy is an avoidance. Bev. No. This is what science is about. You have to postulate and hypothesize things. You have to come up with ways. To try to interpret what you're studying. So if I'm looking at the situation and I say to myself, well, gee, what would it look like? What would it look like, since the debate is a contentious debate about the shape of the earth? I say, well, what would it look like then? If what I'm looking at outside isn't what I'm supposed to see on a curved earth, then what would it look like? And that's where I get you. See, these others that you debate, they're far more knowledgeable about the science than I am. They don't get you this way. Maybe Flat Earth, Fight the Flat Earth does. So I'm going to say to you, you don't want to contemplate anything that requires an imagination, because it debunks your screwed up understanding of reality.
Yeah, I like to deal in what is.
No, you don't. You're not dealing in what is. You're dealing in what you wish it were. Maybe you're Christian. Maybe you want the Bible to be true. Maybe you want to go to heaven, and you think that you can check off the boxes by telling God that you believe in every word of the Bible, and God's going to give you goodies in heaven, and that's why you're doing this. Maybe you want money. Maybe in your autistic nature, you have this desire to argue rhetoric. Okay? Maybe there's a bit of a racial undertone with that Keck nonsense. Whatever it is. But again, your concept of level and horizontal and line and area and shapes, it does not fit reality. I know. And this long-winded conversation, this 40 minutes of you going back and forth with me is your effort to avoid being honest. Okay? I get your pictures. I say, great, you got your pictures. Great job. But the question is, do the pictures that you show reflect what we are experiencing? Are they themselves? Hey, they're contemplating ifs. Hey, those pictures, some of those pictures are hypotheticals, and you have no problem with those hypotheticals. So you're showing a hypothetical line segment, hypothetical analogies to shapes and whatnot, and then you don't say to yourself, well, that's an if. Okay? Are you standing on that line in that picture? Are you standing on it right now? Are you standing on those things right now? If you're not, then that's a hypothetical. That's an if. And if you're having trouble with an if over here, you should be having trouble with those ifs over there. Okay? So now I've debunked you on consistency. I have debunked you on a lack of consistency. Okay? But the earth is not a canal. The shape of the earth is not bound by the shape of that canal.
Said anything about the shape of the canal?
Hey, there's no relevance.
I'm trying to get you to understand.
I've already understood this. We've already covered this. We've covered this multiple times. No, your concept of level is the issue. Okay? We discussed for the 5th time, like I did those other times when I debunked you, we'll do it again. A level, the concept of level has to do with its relative position to another line above or below it. Something can be level if the distance between the line above or below it, or whatever is being measured, is consistent. So you can have a level that is curved. In fact, they sell them online, and I've shown those to you 1,000 times, curved levels. There's also a mathematical understanding of level curve. Excuse me, you're interrupting. There's also the concept of There's also the concept of a level curve. A level curve. And mathematically, it shows level curves and the shapes and how those shapes define certain concepts, stuff that's beyond my purview of knowledge, but I get the rudimentary understanding of it. It's to say, okay, you have levels, you have different levels, you have levels, and then there's skew lines, which is what you get stuck on. I didn't realize that you were being stuck on skew lines. It took like a couple months. I'm like, wait a minute, is he, after all this time, trying to redefine a skew line to be just a straight line?
Do you want to? If you click that
Jesus.
link in the thing, it says
Right,
where
damn.
I'm streaming. You can look at my stream.
That's great,
What I've got on
Bev.
my-
That's great. And I know that you'll tell your friends that I didn't look at your pictures and that's how you won, blah, blah, blah. No.
Manual.
The concepts,
Manual. I can show
Bev, the concepts are the issue. You can show the 1,000 manuals. You can do all of that. But your concept of the words in those manuals is where the problem is. You use a concept of level to only mean straight, to only mean flat, when that's not what they are describing in the manual. There's that one time about 2 weeks ago when I showed you in your own manual where you were trying to show like section 8 or section 9 or something, where it showed like a level being quote unquote straight, and then in the next section they're describing how levels can be more than just straight, more than just a flat line going across a vast distance, and you ignored that. So it's fine. No one cares if you're putting me on mute. It doesn't matter. I have my own recording, and my recording is going to debunk you. It debunks your bullshit. See? You can't even escape into muting me. So what's it going to be? I've debunked you 4 times. At least 4 times. Okay? So I'm going to now make my point. You've made your point, and we're done with you. We're done with you. Now we're going to do my thing. Here's my thing. My thing is this, is that the shape, if the shape, since we know that the shape of the earth is curved, okay? Sarcasm and cynicism, I get it. So, since we know that the earth is curved, and since we know that even if you were to disagree, you would have to acknowledge that if you stood on a sphere that has a vast distance, that the horizon would appear to be straight, you therefore have to concede that whatever measurement tools that you're relying on are insufficient to settle the matter to your satisfaction. So when you're making the conclusion that the earth is flat based upon the measurements that you're using, you are being dishonest. You're going to have to use a big, you remember that line in Jaws, we're going to need a bigger gun? You're going to have to use a bigger tool to measure. A level isn't going to be sufficient.
Yeah, 27 miles.
27 miles, the way that you're measuring it isn't working. 27 mine is the math. Mine is the distance from the surface. Mine, yes you can. Yes you can. Yes you can. Yes you can. You know why? You know why? You know why? Because on a flat surface you shouldn't see any of that. You shouldn't see any of it. On a flat surface you shouldn't see any of it. Okay? When I see pictures, when you guys show your pictures of the earth and you see the mountains in the distance, and what you should, hey, if you can do it with your eyes, great, but you have yet to try. Okay? And actually, let me interrupt my one point with that. It is an amazing coincidence, one of a conspiratorial nature, that whenever the scale of a measurement settles the matter, you lie and say it can't be done. You'll say the government is preventing us from doing it, or there's a dome and you can't go past that distance. It's like whatever it would take to settle the matter. It's just a coincidence that you've got a nice, well-packaged conspiracy. Watch. If you were to travel 200 miles above, you would see the curvature of the earth. Why haven't you acknowledged the evidence that has been done to do so? Pictures and videos that have been shown from high enough to see the curvature of the earth. Why have you not acknowledged that evidence?
But where's the curvature?
In the pictures. You see it in the pictures. Yes, it's in the pictures. So that's the answer. Any and all pictures where the distance from the surface is well over 100 miles, and preferably over 200 miles to settle any type of misunderstanding about the distance.
they won't be